Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Belgium pack on eFootball. I'll also be reviewing the Italy pack soon. Keep your eyes out for that. That will go live hopefully over the next few days. And this one, as always, I will put timestamps in the description for each player. So if you want to hear about particular players, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's jump in and we'll start by taking a look at the manager. We've got Rudi Garcia. He is a quick counter manager, so he's one of these new 89 rated managers. And if anyone's not aware, all that means is that your players' attributes, when you get your game plan boost, will start going up by +3 when they get to 84. Whereas with an 88 rated manager, they'll start going +3 from 88. So it's not a major thing for me. I think it's good they've done it that way rather than just kind of giving you a bigger boost on the whole than 88 rated. It keeps the power creep under control. So yeah. An improvement obviously on an 88 rated manager, but nothing for me personally to get too excited about. He's also 80 out wide, but 80 doesn't get you quite as much of a boost, so he's really primarily a quick counter manager. If you're bothered about the boost to attributes that you get, the booster, whatever you call it, ball control, attacking awareness +1, and for farming you're at 200% of 5-star players. So yeah, you've essentially got an 89 rated quick counter manager really. So there you go, there's your manager. And let's get into the players. Let's do what I've been doing for a while now. We'll start with the goalie and work our way up the pitch. So we'll start with Thibaut Courtois. So Thibaut, of course, has a face scan. I'm pretty sure all these guys are going to have face scans. Unwavering form. He's not been getting a lot of form the last season or two because he's been getting knee injuries, but he's back to fitness now, I think. So hopefully he's going to be good now, and we're getting loads of form next season, albeit we're at the end of the season now. So we're going to have a couple of months of no live update. It'll be interesting to see actually with the Club World Cup if players get a live update from that. So that would be good if they do. But yeah, unwavering form though. Defensive goalie, massive, of course. High punt, long throw. This is a highlight card, so you can give them low punt if you want to. But let's jump over to eFootball because the big question is, how good is this Thibaut Courtois card? It is rather good. So all maxed out, all boosted up, as you can see. Some real beefy stats there. The big question though is how he compares to other versions of Courtois. We've had obviously a Showtime version quite recently, and it goes without saying that's the best version we've had. But outside of that, if you look at the Player of the Week cards, you had a couple of quite recent Player of the Week versions of Courtois. If you look at those two cards, the core goalkeeping attributes are very similar on the whole, around about the same level. But we've got a bit less distribution on this one. We've got more jumping, of course. And of course, you can give this card low punt. So the most important attributes, not a lot of difference. If you've got one of those Player of the Week cards, you don't really need this one unless you really desperately want to get a Courtois card that you can give low punt to, because you can obviously put low punt on this card. If you compare them to highlight cards, quite interesting. There are a couple of highlight cards. The two best that we've had previously. There's one with a yellow background that I've got. It's some kind of, I think, Spanish League MVPs, something like that. And there was a Madrid derby one. One of those ones from Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid, where it's kind of like the card design was kind of half sort of white and blue, half red sort of thing. Those two previous highlight cards have been the best two so far, and those two are still on the face of it better than this one. Overall rating goes one higher. But what you need to keep in mind though is that the core goalkeeping attributes on this card are actually slightly better, and that's mainly due to the reflexes being a little bit better. The distribution on this card is slightly worse, and the jumping and physical contact are worse on this card as well. So that's why the overall rating is slightly lower. That's all like that. You know, as far as I can see, that's the reason. If you look at the core goalkeeping attributes, you've essentially got some slightly better reflexes. So there's not a massive difference on the whole, really. But like I say, if you look at those two previous highlight cards, they look like on the face of it that they're slightly better because of the overall rating. But I think the jumping, the physical, and the distribution may be sort of, you know, superficially or artificially nerf the overall rating of this card, when actually, and where it matters, I think he's slightly better. So something to keep in mind there. And I mentioned the jumping and physical. When you look at his GP card, they've actually nerfed his jumping and physical. They've taken 4 points off his jumping, so they're doing it to highlight cards as well now, not just Player of the Week. And 5 off his physical contact. +3 on his reflexes, and they put +7 on his reach. So that's the main kind of difference at level 1. Apart from that, a bunch of attributes haven't been boosted at all. There's a few attributes randomly boosted by 1, and they've given him +2 on finishing and attacking awareness. Excellent. Okay, but yeah, like I say, where it matters, nice boost to his goalie attributes and nice boost on his reflexes compared to those two previous ones, which look like they're better. But like I say, they're not actually. I think this one actually, where it matters, is slightly better. So this to me looks like, apart from his Showtime card, might actually be the Certainly the best highlight card we've had of Courtois so far. But certainly one of the best. We've had a couple of Player of the Week cards and those two other highlight cards, which are around about the same level. So if you got one of those ones, you probably don't really need this one. But like I say, if you really want to break it down, look at all the numbers with those reflexes, especially the fact you can give them low punt. There's a good argument that outside of a Showtime card, this may actually be the best version of Courtois that we've had. If we just take those points off aerial there, you can of course get one higher on one of these attributes. Depends how you want to do it really, because the goalkeeper awareness is a 90, which is obviously good, but when you're at 93 parrying, reflexes 92 reach, would you like the goalkeeper awareness to be a bit higher? I personally would. I would start by going +1 there, and then I'll look at these other attributes and I'll be thinking maybe we could nick a couple of there. Maybe get the awareness up one higher, I don't know. But then you want the catching to be 90 as well, don't you? Yeah, I think I'll just do that, to be honest. Yeah. All 90 plus. Fantastic reflexes. You know, Courtois, he's got great reach. He's got a long arm, over 180 centimeters. Big guy with great coverage, great goalie attributes. You can give him low punt. They may have nerfed his jumping and his physical contact a bit, but they're not the most important attributes. This is a brilliant Thibaut Courtois card. Like I say, there's been a few cards with 2 Player of the Weeks. Those 2 previous highlights, the yellow background and the Madrid derby, which are around about the same level. So if you got one, you'd probably don't need this one, but if you really break it down with the reflexes being where they are, just looking at everything, I think on the whole, this arguably is the best Courtois highlight card we've had apart from his Showtime card. So yeah, this is a really, really good goalkeeper card. We've got a couple of centre-backs. We'll start with Debast from Sporting. He's an extra front man. As a face scan, only standard form on B at the moment though. Skill-wise, what we got? Got heading. Not got aerial superiority. You're going to need to give this guy aerial superiority. Interception. Okay, so we need a few skills in this guy. We need man marking. We need blocker. Probably fighting spirit and aerial superiority. Yeah, lacking a few skills in this guy, so not a great start. Extra frontman might not be a playing style for you as well, so that could be a negative for you. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's train this guy up. How good is this Debast card? He's pretty solid. So we've had a Player of the Week version of him that was a build-up instead of an extra front man. Stats kind of shuffled around, pretty similar overall, that Player of the Week card. There's one in the new transfers pack when he joined Sporting. This one's slightly better than that, mainly because he's got about 5 more points on defensive engagement. But yeah, kind of points shuffled around a bit on the whole though. Engagement has had the biggest boost from his GP card. It's a fairly even boost across the board really, but engagement has had the most boost. Most of his defending and physical stats have been given a bit of a boost, to be fair, and it's a decent boost overall from his GP card. Yeah, it's a pretty solid one, this. Again, you look at the defenses there, they're all 90 plus. They're actually all 91 plus, and the defending they've gone up to 13. That last increase, it's gone into +4 territory. Take one off there, you got 4 points. That's not efficient, that auto allocation. The auto allocation really is strange sometimes. I would take those 4 points, and I think, to be honest, it's a tough one. His pace is okay. You're down the left, he's okay for centre back. You look down the right, physical contact, I'd like to be a bit higher. So I'd be tempted to go one higher in physical contact, but that jumping, I really want to boost a bit. So to be honest, as much as you could put one on aerial there, I'm going to go for goalkeeper one because we want a bit more jumping on him. You know, a lot of people are spamming across at the moment. I think it's worth doing that. You get the jumping height up to 278.7 centimeters. That's good. He's got a good vertical reach now. I would give him aerial superiority as well, but I think that would be the way to do it. That's the way I would train this guy. That's the one change I make. Just 1 off defending, 4 in jumping. Well worth doing for me. And yeah, he's solid. That playing style might not work for you. For me, I don't like it at all. I don't want my centre backs wandering forward. I want them to stay in defence and just do their jobs. But if you do like the playing style, great. You know, it's just a personal preference thing. But in terms of the attributes, yeah, pretty solid. I'd like a little bit more still on the aerial and physical, but you can live with that. The defences are all 90 plus, so it's not a top centre back by any means. But in terms of the attributes, pretty solid. But like I say, you do need a bunch of skills in this guy. You need man marking, you need blocker, you need aerial superiority. I would give him fighting spirit as well. For the 5th one, up to you. Maybe a passing skill, maybe his outside curler because he's not got a particularly strong weaker foot and he doesn't want to use it either. So yeah, I think those would be the skills I would give him. So yeah, solid centre back. He needs the skills and the playing style might work for you, but he's solid. You can train him to be a centre defensive midfielder. He could train to be a fullback. I'll just quickly check that just to see if he can. Yeah, he's not great as a fullback, is he? Defensive midfielder, is he going to be good enough down the left hand side? Not really. They always go ham on the defending on the defensive mid. You don't need that much. You need him to be able to pass the ball and stuff, but yeah, he's not great as a defensive mid, is he? No one's going to do that. He's very much a centre-back. Like I say, you could go with the auto-allocation, but I think it's well worth just nicking 1 point off there, and that gives you 4 you can put on goalkeeper 1, get his vertical reach up. You give him the skills he needs. If you're okay with the playing style, could be very good for you, but there are a few concerns with this guy. It's not a top centre-back. And next we have our other centre-back. We've got Theate. I think I've said that right. And this guy has, I mean, his face scan doesn't quite do justice from this angle, but he has fantastic hair. That ponytail thing is absolutely magnificent. But yeah, you've got a build-up centre-back. It's a left-footed build-up. You don't always get good versions of them. Doesn't get live update, unfortunately. That's a shame. I forget who he plays for. He's in Germany, I think. But yeah, he's not got a club affiliation. No live update apart from international weeks, of course. And only standard form. So form is a bit of a concern with this guy. Skill-wise, this is an interesting one because it's one of these rare highlight cards. They've added a couple of skills. It looks like they've added man marking and blocker. Big additions. Big additions. Still doesn't have interception, though. That's a shame. He needs that. So you need interception. But we have had 2 really good skills added. We need aerial superiority again. So both these centre backs are lacking aerial superiority. So those are 3 skills you need in this guy. Again, outside curler might be a handy one as well. But yeah, interception, aerial superiority, outside curler, those are the first 2 I'd like to give this guy. And then maybe a couple of passing skills. But let's train him up. Let's see how good he is. So where is eFootball Hub? It is right there. And this is another solid centre-back guard. So again, they've gone to 13 on defending. You know, but you got all the way up from 8 to 12. It's going +3. And that last increase is +4. Do you need it? No. So I'll take those points back. Thank you very much. And to be honest, I think I'll do the exact same thing again because the physical contact is good at 90. Pace is fine. All the defending is fine. Down the left is fine. But we can go +4 on jumping. He does need a boost on his jumping. Goes to 89. And jumping height again goes to a similar level to Debast, 278.8. So pretty good jumping height. I think that's an easy one for me. That's how I would train him. And this is a pretty straightforward one. It's just another solid centre-back. I much prefer the build-up playing style. So this guy for me is much preferable to Debast. Obviously not choosing between the 2 because you get the lot if you buy this pack. But yeah, solid left-footed build-up centre-back this. I'll do that, nick that point of defending, get his jumping up to 89. It would be nice to get to the 90 mark, but what really matters is that vertical reach there. But yeah, he does need a few skills there. Interception and aerial superiority, absolutely crucial. But he's a solid centre-back. Yeah, not a lot more to add to that. The form issue is a real concern. And of course, you can't use many in any league challenges like with Debast because there's no Portuguese league challenge. So we do have concerns with both these centre-backs really, outside of the skills. But yeah, he's solid. Looking at other positions, could you make? He's already got left back. Can you make this guy left back? I doubt it. I mean, you could if you run these guys. You're like a centre back at full back. Defensively, physically, got good speed and stamina as well. But the acceleration is quite poor for full back. Bounce is horrible. He's going to be clunky as hell. He's not great on the ball. I don't think I'll play him left back myself. If you really desperately wanted someone at full back who's just an extra centre back, then I guess he could do a job for you. But I don't fancy him there personally. Left midfield. I don't think he's going to be a good left midfielder. What's the auto allocation telling us? Yeah, the auto allocation is telling us not to play him as a left midfielder. Defensive mid, you can make him a defensive mid. Nope. Same again. Same with Debast. Yeah, he's very much a centre back, and I think it's very much worth taking that 1 point of defending. Beef him up in the air. Where's goalkeeper one gone? There. Yeah, that's what I do. Like I said with Debast, you got some concerns with Debast. The playing style isn't the most popular one for a centre back, and you can't use him in a league challenge. You need a few skills. Theate, you need a few skills. Can't use him in a league challenge. No live update. There are concerns with both these centre backs, but look at the stats. They're both pretty solid. I prefer Theate myself. But yeah, they're both solid. They could both certainly do a job, but they do need the skills. Now a few negatives with them, but like I say, they're both pretty solid in terms of the attributes, and potentially for quite a few people, they could be pretty solid centre backs to have, even if they're not tipped up. And our last defender is Maxim De Cuyper. He got a face scan, attacking fullback. He's on B form, but again, he plays in the Belgian league, so no league challenge. Can't use his card in the league challenge. So straight away we've got a negative there. Unfortunately, he does get a live update at least though. Skill wise, we're lacking few. Block is a good one to have, but could do with interception, and I would like man marking on him as well. It's got pinpoint crossing when he gets forward though. He is quite good going forward, this guy in real life. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a decent move this summer, but we'll see about that. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub and train him up. Let's see how good he is. So How good's De Cuyper? He's all right. This is the first time I've had a version of De Cuyper. And compared to his GP card, he's had a pretty even boost. Defensive awareness and aggression have had the biggest boost, but it's a pretty even boost. He's all right. You know, obviously the pace, they always go really heavy on the lower body. Again, all the way to 13 on lower body. Why do they keep going to 13? That's not efficient. I'm going to take at least one away from that. I'm going to take more, to be honest. We need to take a few away. You need to beef them up a bit elsewhere. Defending's a concern for me. You need a bit more on tackling. I want to be at the 80 mark for tackling. I'd like to beef him up on the ball a bit. Yeah, he's not a brilliant card, this. He's got some qualities, but he's not brilliant on the ball. The defensive's not too bad, but could be a bit better. Got a bit of physical strength, but the balance is quite poor. Yeah, you just can't really quite spare enough points to beef him up in all the areas you want to really beef him up in, to be honest. It would be nice to get to that 80 mark for defensive engagement, likewise on the ball there for your ball control, your dribbling. But yeah, he's got some qualities, this guy, and he's got some good skills, but he could do with 1 or 2 extra skills, and there's a few attributes I'd like to be a bit higher, so it's not the most exciting one, this. I don't think this is a great card. He could certainly do a job if you gave him 1 or 2 skills. He could be a solid attacking left back, but not an amazing one. Interesting, you can play him on the right as a left footer. You don't see many players you can play as a left footed right back. You could train him as a centre back. I don't think he's going to be much of a sneaky centre back. Nope. Defensively not great, physically lacking. Yeah, he's not going to be, no one's going to train this guy as a centre back. Can use him as a left winger. So we got first time shot, pinpoint crossing, lofty pass, got a few decent skills going forward. Can you make this guy a decent left winger? Not too exciting, to be honest. I'm going to go up to 8 on low body. Let's see if we can make him decent on the ball. Can we just about get him 90 lofted pass? Just about. Yeah, so if you don't fancy this guy as a left back, and if you like putting a lot of crosses in, decent pace, balance is pretty bad. Not great attacking awareness, not great on the ball. But low pass decent, lofted pass at 90, bit of curl, decent kicking power, got pinpoint crossing. Yeah, bit of pace and a very good cross. You just want to spam a load of crosses in. He could do a job as a left winger for you. Still though, I don't think he looks it great even in that position. So could be a left mid for you, could be a left back. I think in both cases he's got qualities and he's not a particularly bad card, but he's really not a great one. I feel like this might be the dud out of the pack. It's not a great one on the whole. So yeah, can't use many league challenges. And in terms of his overall ability, not brilliant in either as a left back or as a left midfielder, but he's not terrible. But I think for most people, it's probably not going to be one of the better cards in the pack. Now into the midfield. I think a lot of people are going to be quite interested in this guy. So we've got Amadou Onana. He's a defensive midfielder. He's an anchor man, got a face scan. He's massive, about 6'3", 6'4". Only standard form, but he does get a live update, and you can use him in the English League Challenge. Skill-wise, again, they've made some changes, so this is very interesting. So we've got a defensive midfielder, and they've added man marking, blocker, and fighting spirit. He's already got interception, aerial superiority, sliding tackle. He's got one-touch pass, low-lofted pass. Could do it through passing, but the skills they've added there are very nice. They don't often add skills to highlight cards, so very interesting additions there. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is this guy? Where's eFootball Hub? There it is. So, sound the long leg klaxon. I need a klaxon sound effect on my videos for when we get defensive midfielders with long legs and for goalies with long arms, because in both cases people tend to get very excited. We've got a defensive mid with very long legs, and he's got some good defensive skills, so straight away he's looking interesting. Again, they've gone to 13 on defending. Why are they doing that? The auto allocation is just bizarre. Anyway, I'm nicking those 4 points straight away. Where we're going to put them? I think passing. I think the way the game is now, probably passing. He's looking pretty solid, but yeah. I'll just leave it there. 1 point spare, or figure that out in a second. Yeah, this is a solid looking on our card. We've had a few versions of him, but this, as far as I can see, is the best. Just about edges the best previous one. So this is looking like a very interesting card. Compared to his GP card, they've actually reduced his physical contact by 1. I don't know why they've done that. It's not like this is a kind of top card that's going to rival legend cards or anything, but yeah, they've nerfed his physical contact by 1. Apart from that, though, they've given him a pretty even boost, really. Nothing really stands out. Dribbling, pace, balance, they probably have the biggest boost. But yeah, the boost is pretty even. Like I say, 1 point away from physical contact. That's annoying. But they've added those skills, and it's overall looks like just about the best version we've had of this guy so far. I think for a lot of people as an anchor man, he's a big guy. He's got a bit of physical strength. He's defensively really good, and those long legs as well, they really help with interceptions and getting in the way of things. He is pretty horrible on the ball and poor bounce as well. His passing is not brilliant, so that's the concern for me. For a lot of people with a defensive midfielder, that's not an issue. If you're one of these people, and there are a lot of people who don't mind these attributes not being so high on a defensive mid, you'll be looking at the important ones, thinking this is a very interesting card. For me personally, on any kind of midfielder, even if it's an anchor man who's going to sit back and defend, I still want him to be a bit better on the ball and to have better passing, because you've still got to be able to control the ball and pass the ball and not give it away. And if there's one place you don't want to give the ball away, it's in front of your defence. So yeah, that is a bit of a concern for me. I'm not sure we could really spare the points to make him better in that regard. So what I'll do is I'll start with an out-and-out defensive build, which I think is what most people would probably be wanting to do. If we wanted to go really, really defensive, I'm just going to get that physical contact to 90. Jumping up to 80 as well, which is nice. Defending's great. Got good stamina. Doesn't need anything in the lower body. Got 4 points left there. I'm just going to stick him straight back on passing. Yeah, I think it's an out-and-out defensive mid, just sitting in front of the defence, protecting it. Could be a real strong card for a lot of people. And like I say, for me personally, I want more on the ball from this guy. I want my defensive mids to be more comfortable on the ball, but he's massive. He's got long legs, defensively and physically strong. With the skills he's got, yeah, this could be a very interesting defensive mid for a lot of people. If you wanted a more well-rounded build, which is what I personally would want, I would nick some from defending. He's still strong at defending if you do that. I'll go down to 8 on defending, up to 8 on passing. I'll be tempted to go right the way up to... Where are we at? I'm going to nick one from dexterity. Yeah, get that double increase from 86 to 88 there, because he's at the 85 mark. Obviously you get the +3 at 84 if you've got an 89 rated manager, which you will have if you get this pack. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'd do. In fact, I'm taking a bit off aerial, make him a bit more comfortable on the ball, up to 80 ball control. Is that where I'd leave it? That is probably where I'd leave it. Go get one back on dexterity, and then in fact I'll get one more on dexterity. I think I would do that. So if you want a more well-rounded build, maybe you've got a double pivot. I sometimes use an anchor man in my double pivot. I've even used 2 anchor men in a double pivot before, and it's worked fine for me. But I do like both my midfielders, DMFs, or whether I use them as CMFs, which I occasionally do. I do like them to do a bit of everything. I like them to be defensively strong, but I like them to be pretty comfortable on the ball as well. So this for me is probably roughly how I would build him. So you're still looking right down the right. Obviously the balance is going to be horrible whatever you do. But he's got that bit of physical strength. He's still strong defensively, but he's a bit more comfortable on the ball. He's got better passing. He's going to need through passing whatever you do. It's an important one to give him. But really, that's the only skill he desperately needs. He's reasonably two-footed as well, so outside curler's not that important. But yeah, in terms of skills he really needs, important ones, it's just through passing for me. I don't think he really desperately needs anything else. You can maybe give him weighted pass. Is there anything defensively he needs? You can give him heading maybes, because he's got areas of priority. He's going to win a few headers, and his heading actually is not great, so maybe he's heading. And yeah, through passing very important. Then maybe he's weighted pass. Maybe he's outside curler, even though he's reasonably two-footed. Maybe he's heel chick, I don't know. But yeah, he's pretty well equipped for skills, and that's how I personally build him. So there's a couple of builds for you: a real defensive one, and then a more of a well-rounded one. You can use him as a centre midfielder. If you went for a centre midfield, what would you do? He would not have an active playing style as a centre midfielder. You're going to need more dexterity for sure. I'm not sure how good he'd be as a centre mid, really. Just got 2 points left. That's not a lot, is it? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't really fancy this guy as a centre mid. Just thinking, can we get that balance to the 70 mark? Not really. Can we? No. Yeah, I'd probably just go with that, but I'm not sure many people are going to use this guy as a centre midfielder. No active playing style, kind of decent across the board, but nothing really looks that great, to be honest. As a centre mid, I'm not sure many people are going to fancy that. You can make him a wide midfielder. I don't know why I'm going to bother doing this, but let's see. Can we make a cross-bam on and R? He could be worse, to be fair. I mean, he's got a bit of pace. His stamina's great. Could be worse on the ball. He's not going to be great. Lofted pass 84, giving pinpoint crossing. Yeah, right wing on an R, great. That's quite enough of that. But yeah, back to the amount. In fact, there's one more position, which I almost forgot. That's an interesting one because this is a big, tall guy with long legs, and he's got some good defensive skills. Could he be a sneaky centre back? I have a feeling he might be. Let's have a look. Ooh, hello. We might have a centre back. Hello. So they've gone up to 16 on defending. One question. I mean, the vertical height actually is all right. Even with only 81 jumping, that vertical reach of 275 is okay. That's an interesting looking centre back. You know, he's about 6'3", 6'4". He's got those long legs. He's got those defensive skills. That could be an interesting centre back. You know, if you don't fancy this guy as a defensive mid, or even if you do, just if you want the option to use him as a centre back at any given point, he won't have an active playing style. Like I always say, that's a personal preference thing. I personally don't have any issue with a centre back not having an active playing style. But as you can see there, it's saying he's 101 rated centre back, and you can see with the attributes, defensively he's an absolute beast. Physical strength is good. The jumping doesn't look great, but the vertical reach isn't bad because he's quite tall. Pace is fine. Everything else, I mean, down the left is pretty nice for a centre back. This could be an interesting centre back, you know. And I'm just thinking, with the height he's got, what if we did increase that jump a bit? Because with that defending being up to 16, if we take 4 points off that, that's going to give us 16 points to play with. Hello. Got to 12 in aerial, 7 left. Yeah, we're going to call in our old friend goalkeeper 1. There's a point on passing, we don't need that. You know what? I'm gonna go against what I keep saying. I'm gonna go to 13 on aerial. And that gets a jump to 90. We get the physical contact to 95. 281 centimeters of vertical reach. Hello. Right, yeah. This is definitely a sneaky centre back. So it's still 90 plus on all your defensives. 95 physical contact on a big guy like this with long legs. And then 90 jumping to get his vertical reach to 281 centimeters. Nice down the left, decent pace. That is a very, very, very interesting centre back. So you would need at least 2 position trainers. You might need 200 position trainers because that's the way position trainers work. It's annoying, but it is what it is. But if you've got the position trainers to make him a centre back, if you give 1 or 2 skills, heading, is that? Oh, acrobatic clearance, there you go. Heading, acrobatic clearance. That's all you really need as a centre back, to be honest. If you've given those skills, yeah, this guy could be a very handy centre back. Against the likes of Jan Koller and so on, that vertical reach over 280 centimeters, this guy could be very, very useful. So that's definitely another use for this guy. So as a defensive midfielder with the skills they've added, yes, he could be a little bit of a concern technically on the ball. He's going to be clunky, of course, but he's a big physical guy. He's got great leg coverage, those long legs. Could be a very interesting anchor man for a lot of people. But as a centre back, as you can see, you could make him a defensive monster, but you could sacrifice those points like I have, and you can make him very, very strong in the air as well. So a couple of ways you could use this guy. For a lot of people, could be a very good defensive midfielder, but I think for some people, he could be a very interesting centre back as well. So this card could be one of the most appealing ones in the pack, I think. And from one of the most interesting cards in the pack to possibly the most disappointing. So we've got Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, he's got his face scan, which has looked pretty horrendous for a while now. Wait, what is that hair? Yeah, that's bed hair, isn't it? Unwavering form is on D at the moment, no. That's harsh. You can use him in the English League Challenge. Skill-wise, what you expect. Nothing has changed. Got your passing, long-range shooting, crossing. It's what you expect from De Bruyne. We know what he's got skill-wise. We know what to expect. But the question is how good he is compared to other De Bruyne cards. And sadly, that's why it's disappointing, because you max him out, get more boosted up. He's not that amazing. We've had a load of player of the week cards and highlight cards, obviously, with De Bruyne, and most of them are better, really. This doesn't really stack up particularly well against previous De Bruyne cards. If you look at his GP card, they've actually taken 3 points away from his low and lofted pass. I mean, you can kind of afford that. He's still over 90 there, but with the way passing is since the most recent gameplay update, those passing attributes are important. And on De Bruyne, with what he's good at being passing, a lot of people would want to really max out that passing, and they've taken 3 points away on a highlight card. That's really annoying. They've taken a couple of points off kicking power as well. Where they boosted him, they basically boosted his pace. They're giving him 9 on speed, 8 on acceleration. So, yeah, nice boost to his pace, but they've nerfed his passing and kicking power. Apart from that, they've put 1 on finishing and balance, 2 on physical contact, and that's it. So, yeah, as far as boosting him goes, he's a bit quicker, but they've nerfed him in a few areas and not really done much at all elsewhere, and he doesn't stack up that well against other versions. So this is a disappointing card. It's really not a great looking card. Yeah, I don't know what more to add. It's just not a great De Bruyne card. If you don't have any good version of him and you'd like one, then great. If you get this pack, you've got a De Bruyne card. But I can't really say much more beyond a De Bruyne card because it's not a good De Bruyne card. Apart from the fact to boost his pace, that is significant, to be fair, because he's not the quickest De Bruyne. So I don't want to sound too negative. If you think these stats are still okay down the left, which to be fair, I think they are still okay. It's just frustrating that they've nerfed his passing. But yeah, if those stats are alright for you, having a quicker version of De Bruyne than the one you've got, that could make it a good version, to be fair. I think I am being a bit negative, to be honest. So the overall rating, yeah, overall he doesn't stack up so well against previous versions, but it's not always got this much pace. So pros and cons, I guess. I'll put it that way. It's not a really bad version of De Bruyne. It's just not quite as exciting as it could have been, but they have boosted that pace. If that pace matters to you, it could actually be a very interesting version. If you're not bothered about the pace, then it'd probably be a disappointing card. In terms of the way the points are all allocated, would I do much? You could think one off passing, even though I've nerfed it already. What's that going to give you? Not a lot. Get his speed to 80. That's about it. That's all I'd do, I think, to be honest. I don't think I'd do much else. Tidy, he's tidy on the ball. He's got good passing. Finishing's alright. He's got a bit of kick power behind his shots, even though he normally has more. Good attacking awareness. The pace is a lot better than he normally is. He's not particularly quick, but he's not too slow either. Could do with a bit more balance, but he's got a little bit of physical strength about him. So yeah, I would just do that as an attacking mid. I wouldn't use him as a centre mid. I always say it, but if you've got a player who's as good as this going forward and he can't defend to save his life, he's got no defensive skills, he's not the strongest physically, are you going to play him as a centre midfielder? If you are, happy days, good for you. I hope that works out well for you, but I think that's crazy. You might as well stick him up the pitch, get that playing style active as an attacking midfielder, and make the most of what he's good at. As an SS, you could train him for SS, and in which case I'd leave him pretty much the same. I don't think I'd do anything different there. Wide right, do you want to make a right wing? I mean, with the fact that boosted his pace, he could be one of the more usable De Bruyne cards as a right winger. If you position training for the right wing, he's got pinpoint crossing, he's going to have a really nice cross on him. We need a bit more speed, so we'd have to probably nick some off dribbling, I guess, to get more speed. I mean, if you leave him like that, you don't need that speed on the right winger. I always say if you want a kind of a Beckham style winger who's not going to rely on pace, you're going to rely more on be able to get the ball under control and whip crosses in just like that. To be fair, he could be very effective as a right winger, just mashing crosses in over and over if that's what you want to do. But if you did want to give him more speed, I think dribbling is the one place you can get some points. You could nick the points off shooting as well, and that can let you go all the way up to. Oh, that's not bad actually. We'll go to 85, and then with those last 4 points. To be honest, yeah. I don't know what I did at the last 4. Sticking back on shooting, whatever. Yeah. To be fair, this guy can be pretty decent as a right winger. So he's not going to be much of a dribbler. He's never that fluid with his dribbling, De Bruyne. He's not really got the pace usually, but he's got a bit of pace now. But yeah, with 90 lofted, so he's got some decent curl. Plenty of kicking power. He's got pinpoint crossing. If you put him on the right hand side, if you want to put someone on the right hand side putting a lot of crosses in, he could actually be very, very effective, to be fair. So yeah, that's another way you could use this De Bruyne card where he could be pretty handy for you. So that's about it in terms of positions. In terms of left wing, same deal really. I think this is one of these cards where if you're going to play him on the left wing, I'm not sure he's quite as nimble as you'd want him to be. I'm not sure he'd be too effective there. But if you gave him long range curler, certainly you could have a very effective long range curler coming off the left wing. But like I say, as a right winger, I think he could actually be pretty effective there if you wanted to use a De Bruyne card as a right winger and put a load of crosses in. And then I'll just leave him on auto allocation as an attacking mid. As an attacking mid, like I say, it's not the best version of De Bruyne on the whole. The way they've nerfed him a little bit with his passing, I think it's just crazy. But they have boosted his pace. So if you've always wanted a De Bruyne card with a bit more pace, and you think the passing is fine as it is, then yeah, it could be a good card for you. Could even be a decent right winger for you. But for a lot of people, it might be disappointing. It's going to divide opinion. It'll be pros and cons. But yeah, depending on where your priorities lie and how you want to use him, it could be a very decent De Bruyne card to pick up. It's certainly not the best one, all things considered. And next we got Charlie de Ketelaere from Atalanta. So, got a face scan, creative playmaker, SS, he can play as a striker, SS or attacking midfielder, unwavering form, he can use him in the Italian League Challenge, Skill-wise, nothing's changed here. He's got 1 touch and 3, most important ones for a number 10, which is pretty much primarily what he is. Hill chicken outside curve, nice ones to have. Don't think I would add a lot there. I don't think he desperately needs a lot. Maybe to give him a few shooting skills. First time shot, long range curl, long range shooting. But he's pretty well equipped for what he's good at, which is getting on the ball and playmaking. And let's go to eFootball and see how good he is overall. So he is pretty decent. He's very decent. So I've had quite a few Ketelaere cards. He's pretty similar on the whole to his Player of the Week cards. I make it 4 Player of the Week cards. 2 of them have a booster that make them slightly better. Not massively though. And they're all kind of shuffled around in terms of the stats as well. It's all slightly different. They're all whole players, his Player of the Week cards as well. He's had 1 highlight card that's slightly better than this one. That was in some kind of legend box a little while ago. Not a massive difference though. He's better than all his other highlight cards, including the free one when Atalanta won the Europa League at the end of last season. Not a massive difference, but it is slightly better this one. Compared to his GP cards, a pretty mixed boost. Looks like they focused on his own product and his athleticism basically. In those areas they boosted him a bit. That's pretty much it. It's a reasonable boost overall. And yeah, it's looking pretty tight. It's a tidy version of De Ketelaere. It's either an attack mid or an SS. He's looking decent, but that passing for me is not quite what I'd want it to be. But you look at the way the points are allocated, only 4 points have been allocated to passing. So can we get the passing up to where we'd want it to be for a playmaker? I'm going to aim for the 90 mark, see how close we can get to it. They put quite a lot on finishing. We will see him, check him out as a forward, but I'll start off just by focusing on the passing. To be honest, you might want to go with that. 88 is not quite what I'd want for low pass. I'd like it to be a bit higher. He's got 1 touch and through. I think the only way to really realistically get up to the 90 mark is if you sacrifice a bit from his on-the-ball attributes and then you take away from dribbling. You see that dribbling, you're at the 88 mark. Take just 1 away from dribbling, it goes to 86. Yeah, you could do that. But yeah, if you really want the passing higher, then I'll do that. We'll see how that looks. If you go down to 8 on dribbling, he won't be so great at dribbling, but he's still got 90 ball control, 88 type possession, so he's not going bad on the ball at all. Just not quite as good, but that way you can get some of that 90 for low pass, and we can also go back to 80 for finishing. We've got 2 points left. We'll stick that on lower body. Yeah, that might be a decent build as an attacker mid, to be fair. The balance isn't brilliant, but he's got a bit of physical strength. He's a tall guy, De Ketelaere. He's about 6'2", 6'3". I think that's the same height as Onana. He's a tall guy, so he's not going to feel too smooth on the ball, but he doesn't feel bad. I've had a couple of versions of him. I think I've got 1 Player of the Week card of his, and I've still got an old highlight card from when he was at AC Milan. I think it's a 4-star card, but it's actually been decent for me, to be fair. He doesn't feel too bad on the ball, even that 4-star version. So I imagine, based on this one being better, that he will feel alright on the ball. For a guy as tall as he is, who's not got amazing dribbling or balance, I would imagine, based on personal experience, that he will feel okay on the ball. And he's not got amazing pace either, but he's not slow. Bit of kicking, bit of curl as well, finishing at 80. Yeah, if you give him long range curler, he could have a very decent long range curler on him. And he's got the passing skills to back up the passing attributes, which we've got to 90, certainly 90 for low pass there. And again, he's tidy on the ball still, even though we've taken a bunch of points away. If you really want to focus on the dribbling, obviously you can go with the previous build, but with this build, not so great at dribbling, but still at 90 ball control, 88 type possession, attack awareness over 80. I think as an attack midfielder, this probably is what I would personally go for. I think we could be pretty tidy there. If you moved them higher up the pitch, probably the previous build might work better for you. You could sacrifice a bit on passing, make him a bit better on the ball maybe. That might work as an SS for me. I think passing is still very important in the area, so I wouldn't go much lower on passing. I think that's probably, that's pretty much spot exactly where I'd go as an SS, just behind the attack. As a striker, you can make him a striker. Let's just see what the auto allocation tells us. No, not for me. Attacking when it's at 85 fully boosted is not great. 82 for finishing is really not great. There's not really enough points elsewhere that you can sacrifice to really make him better where you need him to be better. So yeah, as a striker, not for me. You won't have an ideal playing style. The important attributes aren't where I'd want them to be. It's not got first time shot or any shooting skills. So yeah, striker for me is not worth doing. Could you make him a wide man? Let's just see what auto allocation tells us as a left midfielder. Yeah, maybe. Again, he's not going to be amazing. Similar to De Bruyne, you've got some strengths there, but you might want a bit more pace. You might want a bit better dribbling. Even if you're getting pinpoint crossing, 85 lofted pass there, and that's going up to 8 on passing. With pinpoint crossing, he'd have a decent cross on him. I'm not saying it'd be bad, but It wouldn't be amazing. A bit of curl there, good kicking power. So yeah, you could train him for the left-hand side and make him a decent left winger. I don't think it'd be an amazing one though. As a right winger, the passing wouldn't be as important. You don't need to be able to cross the ball. Let's take passing down to 4 as a right winger. Let's just see. We've got 1 point in defending there. Interesting. I'll take that back. Thank you. We can get his speed up to 88. Not bad. 1 more on dexterity. Let's just take all those points of passing. And let's get his finishing up to 80. So wide right is a kind of inverted winger. If you gave him long range curler, like I say, you could have a very decent long range curler on him. Passing not so important out wide. He's got 1-touch passing, through passing to back him up there with the passing. Not going to be an amazing dribbler there, but we've got the speed up to 88. He could be an option wide right. To be fair though, if you're going to use him wide right, you could just position him as a right wing forward and just set him as an SS. He might be just as well to do that. It might depend on the playing style, and obviously it would depend on the position trainers. If you're okay with the creative playmaker playing style on a wide forward, then I would say just position him as a right wing forward, set him to an SS, and then you don't need to position train him. He'll play as a creative playmaker, and if you gave him long range curler, the pass can be decent for a wide man, and could have a very interesting, very decent long range curler on him. If you're really not a fan of the playmaker playing style, then you could position train him as a right wing forward. In fact, scratch that, because you'll still be a creative playmaker as a right wing forward. So yeah, forget position training. You don't need to do that at all. Just position him on the right and make him an SS. So yeah, could be decent. Give him long range curler, inverted winger off that right wing, could be decent there. You've got centre midfield as well. Again, I'm not going to bother even training him as a centre midfielder because he can't defend. He's not got defensive skills. If you're going to be that deep in your midfield, just make him an attack midfielder. I don't know why you'd do that. So yeah, make him an attack midfielder instead, and that's where I'll leave him. I'll leave him to finish up. Auto allocation as an attacking mid. You can train in different ways. I personally think it's worth getting that passing up a bit as an attacking mid. I think that build just there is probably what I do as an SS. That might be exactly what I did as an SS. Maybe I got the finishing a bit higher, but yeah, a couple of different builds you can use in this guy. I wouldn't use him as a striker. You could make him a left midfield if you wanted to. Could be decent there. Likewise, wide right, but I would just use him as a wide right SS, and then you don't need to position train him. But I think as an attack mid or an SS in that kind of number 10 area behind the attack, depending how you want to build him, probably needs a few more points on passing compared to auto allocation, but pretty comfortable on the ball. Got a little bit of pace, a little bit of balance, a bit of physical strength, big tall guy. He's got some qualities, this guy. Maybe to do with 1 or 2 shooting skills, but it could be a handy one. It's a decent version of the Ketelaere. And yeah, it could be a decent card for a lot of people to pick up. And especially for the Italian League Challenge, could be an option for that as well. And next we have Leandro Trossard, and we've had 2 or 3 cards in this pack where they've added some skills. They've added a position to Trossard. They've added right wing forward, so he's not normally got that. They switched his position to right wing forward and added that to his positions. He's got his normal positions as well though. He's got unwavering form. I'm not sure he necessarily wants that from what I've seen and what I've read, but I don't watch Arsenal that much. Maybe one of my Arsenal fan community members can correct me on that. But yeah, he's quite two-footed, unwavering form. Can use him in the English League Challenge. He's got a face scan. Skill-wise, nothing's changed. Got a bunch of shooting skills, got a few skills in the ball. Super sub as well, always a handy one. No passing skills though, so wherever you play this guy, 1-touch passing, through passing, I think will be the first 2 skills I'd look to put on him. Does he need? He doesn't really need an outside curler. So yeah, 1-touch pass, through passing, maybe his heel trick, maybe his fighting spirit. I think those are the skills I look for. But 1-touch pass and through pass are the two skills I think will be the most important, especially if you're playing through the middle. But let's jump over to eFootball and train Trossard up. Let's see how good he is. So we're training him as a right winger initially, although it's going to be the same auto allocation for left wing, I assume. I never really checked that. Let's just see. That's the same, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, that's a right wing or left wing build. Let's get right wing out of the way first, because to play him on the right, he's right footed, 74 lofted pass, no pinpoint crossing. Even if you give him pinpoint crossing, his crossing is going to suck. Can we make his crossing better? Let's try and make him a proper right wing, because if you play him as a right foot on the right, you've got to be able to cross the ball. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. I mean, you'd have to make him significantly worse on the ball. Yeah, is it worth doing that? I don't know. You can take a bit off dexterity, maybe. You can just about get his lofted pass to 80. Is it worth doing? A right foot on the right hand side, bit and crossing? Not really. I mean, you can still use him as a right wing and not rely on crossing, but as a right footer, how comfortable he's going to be? He's fairly two-footed, but I don't know. I think he's going to be better on the left. Let's just train him. Let's just look at him as a left wing. Go back to auto allocation as a left wing. I'll leave the passing where it is. Shooting's fine as it is. Only 4 points, but you're already 81 for finishing. Lovely on the ball. Can we get his speed up to 90? We can get up to 89. Actually, we can nick a bit off dexterity. We just need 1 point. Ah, there we go. Pow. There we go. Magic. Yeah, it looks pretty nice as a left wing. Okay, so you got the pace, bit of kicking power, decent balance as well. Tidy on the ball, attack awareness over 80, low pass at 80. I would still give him one touch pass and through passing to help with that. 80 at finishing. You've got a long range curler, long range shooting, knuckle and dipping and rising shots. Got all the shooting skill. I think you've literally got all the shooting skill except for acrobatic finishing. Maybe his acrobatic finish would be worth giving him as well, actually. But yeah, you got a long range curler, long range shooting, knuckle dipping, rising, and first time shot. Yeah, it could be very interesting coming off that left flank onto his right foot. Well, compared to his other cards, actually, I forgot to do that. Where are we? So, if you look at his most recent Player of the Week card and an old, there have been a couple of centre forward Player of the Week cards. The older one, that and his most recent Player of the Week card are probably a bit better, but not a massive difference. All his Player of the Week cards, he's had a bunch of Player of the Week cards. They're all kind of shuffled around, different playing styles. I think it's been a playmaker, a whole player. I think it's been a deep line forward as well. I've got that older centre forward version still, I think, and it's a very nice card. Can use him through the middle or wide left, very handy. Highlight wise, one highlight card slightly better than this, but not a massive difference. So it's a pretty good version of Trossard this, all things considered. Maybe not the best overall, but it's a pretty good one. And from his GP cards, a pretty very mixed boost, to be honest. The way they've kind of distributed the points. The biggest boost, speed, physical contact, and tight possession. So yeah, tight possession rebalances out his on the ball attributes. That's nice. Speed's a good one, especially if you're going to play him out wide. Bit of physical strength. He's still not particularly strong, but it will make a bit of a difference. So yeah, an interesting boost. It's a pretty good version of him, and as you can see, as a left winger, I would go for something like that. Quick. He's going to be pretty nimble. Low center of gravity, only 172 centimeters. Got decent balance. Tidy on the ball. He's got a bit of end product. Looks pretty handy, to be honest. The playmaker, I always say it, the creative playmaker playing style for me personally, it's not my preferred playing style out wide. It doesn't work too well for me. But if you're okay with that playing style out wide, I think it looks pretty handy. Through the middle, let's just rule out centre forward because I don't think he's going to be great centre forward, even though he's got a great selection of shooting skills. It could be. He could be. I mean, that acceleration and balance are fantastic. Speed's not amazing. He's got a bit of physical strength. You can get his physical strength over 80, physical contact. Sorry, over 70, not 80. So yeah, that's something. And he's tidy on the ball, passing as well for a striker. But awareness and finishing mid-80s fully boosted. Is that good enough for you? I don't know. If you don't mind him not having that to playing style, you think the awareness and finishing are okay. He's got plenty of qualities elsewhere. He could be a handy striker, I guess. But for me personally, fully boosted mid-80s awareness and finishing is just not quite going to cut the mustard for me. But if you drop him back to SS or attacking mid, we do a kind of number 10 build. It's going to come down to that passing. Can we make that passing good enough? Let's just go to auto allocation as an attacking mid. So auto allocation as an attacking mid, 8 points on passing, or at least they've gone up to level 8, whatever you want to call it, on passing. They've increased it by 8. 84 low pass. Is that enough? For me, no, not as an attacking mid. Can we get it higher? You can get it up to 86, or can we get to the 88 mark? We have to lose a bit off finishing. You can get to 88 low passing. That's about all you can do, really. Is that going to cut it for you as an attacking mid? I don't know. I think for most people, probably not, because those passing attributes are important, and he doesn't have the passing skills. So if you give him one touch pass and through passing, get to 88 for low pass, I think realistically that's where we can, the highest you can really get him to, unless you want to sacrifice some of the on the ball attributes, which I personally wouldn't. He is going to be tidy on the ball, decent finishing and attacking awareness for an attacking mid. Not the quickest, but I think it's okay for an attacking mid. You can get away with that. He's got great acceleration, a little bit of kicking power. I would like it to be a bit higher, bit of balance on him. Yeah, all things considered, I don't think it looks amazing as an attacking mid, but if you gave him one touch pass and through pass, he could certainly do a job there. As an SS just behind the attack with the passing is not quite so important. If you went down to 8 on passing, the passing's iffy for me, especially if you don't give him the passing skills. But as an SS, I think he could be handy. I think that's just about all I'd do. Yeah, I think as an SS, he could be decent just behind the attack. But like I say, you really would need to give him one-touch passing through passing. I think if you gave him those passing skills, you could get away with the passing being where it is. Certainly the finishing is okay at 80 with all those shooting skills that he's got. Tidy on the ball. Attacking wise at 80 is around about where you need it to be. Pretty good pace for as an SS just behind the attack. Yeah, he could be handy there. I think all things considered, I think he's best as a left winger. But it could do a job just behind the attack as well. So yeah, it's not the absolute best version we've had of Trossard. But it's an interesting one. The fact they're getting him right wing forward, if you always want to use him on the right, then that could be good news for you. But like I say, without being better at crossing, even if you're going pinpoint crossing, it's hard to make his crossing that particularly good. So I think this guy's going to be best wide left or just behind the attack in both cases, but especially wide left. I think it could be pretty handy. Maybe not an amazing one, maybe not the absolute best Trossard card we've had, but it's certainly a good one. And it could be a pretty handy one, especially it could be a pretty good option for the English League Challenge. And we got a left winger now. We've got a Jérémy Doku. Prolific winger, got a face scan. Another one you can use in the English League Challenge. Only standard form. It doesn't always seem to be in the team for Man City, so I'm not sure how much good form he gets. Double touch, flip flap, soul control. Yeah, he's got the ball roll, double touch, got a bunch of skill moves, heel trick, but no end product. So on the ball is going to be a lot of fun, but when it comes to actually releasing the ball, going to be a bit of an issue. So skill wise, I think I would give him one touch pass, through passing, first time shot, long range curler, maybe his long range shooting. You might want to give him fighting spirit. You might want to give him outside curler. He's not overly two-footed. So yeah, end product, the big issue skill-wise, that's where I'd focus. But there's a few other skills you might want to give him as well, because he's really just got a whole load of skill moves. It's just going to be really great on the ball. But let's go deeper and have a look at how good he is. Also, all trained up, all boosted. He's pretty tidy. So like I say, great on the ball, fantastic pace, great on the ball. Great balance. Yeah, he's going to be really good on the ball. Got a bit of physical strength. Didn't realise his physical strength was quite that high. I wonder if that's been boosted. Let's have a look at the other versions of him. So, Player of the Week, had a couple of Player of the Week cards when he was at Rennes in France. They weren't so great, but he's had a few since he's been at Man City. All are pretty similar level to this one, to be honest, in terms of the overall ability. A couple of them have a booster that made them slightly better, but not a massive difference. So we're around about the same kind of level as his Man City Player of the Week cards. Obviously, the stats get shuffled around a bit every time there's a Player of the Week card. They slightly change the profile, especially the playing style as well. One of those Player of the Weeks at Man City was a prolific winger like this one. One was a creative playmaker, one's a whole player. I've got that one. In terms of highlight cards, his best highlight cards are slightly better than this one. He's had a couple from legend boxes that go slightly higher in terms of overall ability than this one, but again, not a massive difference. So it's a good version of Doku, but in terms of how they boosted him, it's a very mixed boost from his GP card. They put at level 1, they put 10 points on tight possession. That's great because it balances out his on the ball attributes. They're all 90 plus now, auto allocated, and they have boosted physical contact. They put 8 points on physical contact at level 1, so that's good. So those are the biggest boosts they give him in terms of the attributes at level 1. One of these cards where it's interesting to note that when you look at his GP card and auto allocation, they allocate more points to his on the ball attributes and to his dexterity. So some of those attributes end up looking higher on his GP card, but that's because they allocate more points to them. It is obviously boosted on the whole from his GP card. And yeah, nice to have that physical contact boost and the tight possession. And you can see what he's good at. He's going to be fantastic on the ball. He's rapid. He's great at dribbling. But the issue with Doku is always the end product. He's not great at passing. And to be fair, the low pass attribute of 79 for a wide man is not bad, but you're still going to really need to give him one touch pass and through passing. Otherwise, you're going to need to be very careful with his passing. Make sure you don't ask too much of him. Finishing 74 is not great. So yeah, same situation. They've only allocated 4 points to his passing and his shooting, but do you want to sacrifice some of that dribbling? I mean, you could do. I mean, if you really want to focus on his pace and how good he's on the ball, I'll just leave him on auto allocation. Fantastic. You don't need to do anything. So that'll be the build if that's what you want to do. You just want to dribble the ball all the way into the net. But if you want a bit of end product, you want to be able to pass or shoot, then you could nick a couple of dribbling. I don't think I'd want to go lower than that because you could go that far down. We'll do that because we really need to focus on. We need to see just how good we can make his end product without sacrificing too much elsewhere. We'll take 4 off lower body. We'll take. I don't want to take anything off that because I don't want to drop down below 80 on attacking awareness. Let's just see how many points we need now to get his end product a bit higher. Oh, that'll do fine, to be honest. Right, we've still got 2 points left. We can stick them back on. Put it back on speed. Get speed to 91 because that gives him a bit more kicking power. Because kicking power is not amazing. Yeah, so if you really wanted more end product, you could do that. I think that probably be worth doing. It might be a bit of a shame if you look at the on-the-ball attributes for a player like Doku to the tight possession down to 85, albeit it has been boosted. Ball control down to 88, still dribbling over 90. But if you are concerned about the end product, I would consider that. If you're not too bothered about the end product, certainly you could maybe, I mean, for example, if you're not going to be passing too much, you just want to kind of dribble into a shooting position and get your shots away, you could do that. Get his dribbling back up a bit. Another one back on lower body, maybe that's the build for you. I would still look at one touch passing, through passing, because there will be times when you need to pass the ball, but that way he's still great on the ball, still fantastic pace, but you got that finishing up to 80. If you give him a long range curler and first time shot, certainly come off the left flank onto his right foot. I'm not sure many people would put him on the right. You can't make his crossing any good no matter what, really. So yeah, I don't think I'll be putting him on the right hand side. Even with pinpoint crossing, you can't make him that good at crossing, but certainly from the left hand side onto his right foot, getting shots away. If you gave him long range curler and first time shot, maybe his long range shooting as well, he's gonna be great on the ball. You could give him that little bit of end product with the right skills. Could be a really fun one. Like I said, I've got the player of the week whole player version of him. He is good on the ball. I will say, I mean, I'm not much of a dribbler myself. I mean, I don't like to do skill moves. I never really do skill moves. So I'm not really the guy to ask about the dribbling necessarily. So my Doku card, I'm not sure how much weight my opinion would have, but what I would say is that he doesn't feel as good in the ball as I would hope. If you look at the attributes, you're thinking, wow, he's going to be amazing on the ball. My player of the week one, yes, he's quick, yes, he's good at dribbling, but he's never really felt that amazing for me. He's never really felt that, just quite as fluid as I would hope he would based on the attributes. But like I say, that might be me. I'm not really one for skill moves. I do like to dribble a bit, certainly against the AI, but yeah, I'm not really the best guy to ask about that. But for what it's worth, I've not found Doku to be as great on the ball as I expected him to be. So there is that. But like I said, that's just my opinion. But looking at the attributes, it'll be interesting to know what, if there's if any of you guys really do like your dribblers, you like to do a lot of your dribbling and skilling, I'd be interested to know what you think of Doku. Certainly based on the attributes here, it looks like he's going to be fantastic. I'm just leaving him on auto allocation here. Fantastic pace, great on the ball attributes. He's got all the skill moves there. Got your ball roll double touch. So yeah, it looks like it can be a very fun one out wide. It's just the end product is the issue. So you will need to give him one or two skills to improve his end product, whether that's the passing or the shooting or both. You might want to reallocate a few points to help in that same regard. But certainly with the attributes he's got on the ball with pace and everything, it looks like it could be a very, very fun one. And just to finish up, you could train him to be a forward if you wanted to. I don't think his passing would be good enough really to make him an SS. Let's just see. I mean, I did a build to beef his passing up a little bit. We can't really get it that high. So yeah, as an SS, I'll probably go with that build that I did where we initially got his passing up a bit. But as a striker, yeah. I mean, even as a striker with auto allocation, fully maxed out and boosted up, 78 finishing, not happening. I'll leave him on auto allocation as a left wing to finish up. So yeah, in my experience, he is good. He is quick and good in the ball, but he just hasn't been quite as good in the ball as I'd hoped. But that doesn't mean he's not going to be great in the ball. I'd be interested to know you guys' opinions, but certainly based on these attributes here, he looks like he's going to be fantastic. He's going to be could be a very handy one out wide. It's just that end product's a bit of a concern, so you might want to retrain him a little bit in terms of the attributes, certainly in terms of the skills. But with what he looks like he's good at, getting on the ball and dribbling and skilling, could be a really fun one for a lot of people to pick up. And now we've got two strikers to look at, and we'll start with Openda. So first things first, no club affiliation. He's playing in Germany, so you're not getting any live update outside of international weeks, and only standard form as well. So that's a big downside already. Big shame. Got a face scan though. He's a goal poacher centre forward, and skill wise is another interesting one where they've added some skills. So they've added double touch and long range curler. So double touch for a lot of people will be a good one. Long range curler will be a fantastic one for a lot of people. It's a really important skill for any kind of forward. You don't have soul control there. You need to give him soul control to give him the ball roll double touch. He's already got double touch on flip flap though, so you only need soul control for that. Soul control is a nice one regardless. So soul control might be one of the first skills I put on this guy. Got first time shot, accurate finishing. Might want to give him heading. He's not massive. I know he's gonna be great in the air, but heading might be worth giving him. Apart from that, maybe he's one touch passing, through passing. Maybe he's fighting spirit. But yeah, he's got pretty good selection skills. He's a super sub as well, always handy, interesting. So he got most of the important skills for a striker. Long range curl and double touch additions. So a pretty nice selection of skills on the whole. And let's go over to eFootball Hub though. Let's see how good this Openda card is. It is pretty good. So we've had a few player of the week versions of Openda, and also one or two highlight cards, but this, as far as I can see, is the best version of Openda that we've had so far. I think there's a highlight card that runs it pretty close. But yeah, this to me just about looks like the best version of Openda that we've had. It's a pretty mixed boost he's had from his GP card. It's another one where they've nerfed a couple of attributes. They've taken 3 points off his speed, and they've taken 2 points off his acceleration, which on the face of it is really annoying. But if he's still going to go to 92 speed and 97 acceleration, I don't think we really can complain too much, because he's still got really good pace. That acceleration is crazy at 97. They're giving him a really nice boost on the ball. 8 points on ball control, 4 dribbling, 10 tight possession. That's a really nice boost on the ball they're giving him. And with him having double touch as well, yeah, this guy could be a lot more fun to get on the ball than other versions of him. Giving him a bit of kicking power as well. And that's about it really boost wise, and yeah, he's looking pretty nice. It'd be nice to get that finishing to the 90 mark, but I mean, yeah, I don't think I'll change a great deal, to be honest. I'm not sure where I'll get the points from to get his finishing to 90, to be honest. He's only one away, but nice to have his physical at the 80 mark. I guess maybe some speed. I don't want to lose the kicking power really. It's a shame to lose some kicking power, but I don't want to go below 90 for awareness or balance. Even though you could easily spare some points from acceleration, but balance and awareness at the 90 mark. Dribbling, I mean, he's decent on the ball for a goal poacher. He's not amazing. No, I don't think I'd want to lose points from there. I guess that's one thing you do. You could either take 3 from dribbling there, and that could get his finish up to the 90 mark. Or if you wanted to put his points back on the ball, you could maybe nick a couple off lower body. Like I say, you lose a bit of kicking power. It's a bit of a shame. But yeah, it might be worth doing. Either way, I think it's worth doing. Get that finish up to the 90 mark. I'd probably do it that way, to be honest. Nice to have a nice few strikers be a bit more comfortable on the ball, and 2 on kicking powers don't make too much difference. So yeah, but either way you do it though, you got some real pace on this guy. You got some physical strength on him, and you got some great balance. Decent on the ball for a poacher. The awareness from finishing at 90, looking very interesting. This Openda card, very interesting. It's a big shame he's not going to be getting a lot of form. That form situation with the lack of live update, you can't use him in league challenges. It's a real downside with any card, but if just looking at the ability and having the good selection of skills that he starts with, for a goal poacher, rapid, fairly decent on the ball for a goal poacher. He's got a few skill moves there. Long range curler has been thrown into the mix, a big addition to his skills. First time shot. He's a super sub as well. There's a lot to be said for this guy. Yeah, he's very interesting looking. It's a very interesting card. If it wasn't for the form situation, I'd say this is a fantastic card, but just that situation where he's not getting live update and you can't use him in league challenges, that's a big downer really. But just looking at the ability though, like I say, a bit of physical strength, I'm getting to the 80 mark and that balance at 90. He's rapid, the awareness of finishing. Yeah, it's a very good striker card. If you don't mind the situation with the form and not being able to use him in league challenges, could be a really great one to pick up. Could you use him as a wide man? I'm just thinking with a couple of skill moves there, good pace. Could we use him out wide? Let's just see. Let's take a bunch of points off his finishing. We'll leave it at 80. We'll put 4 on his passing. At least get his low pass to the 70 mark. Ooh, hello. This is that's interesting actually. Okay. So he's got a first time shot. He's got long range curler. You can get onto a pretty decent level on the ball. Attacking awareness still at 90. And he's still got that crazy acceleration, speed at 90. Still got physical contact at the 80 mark. If you position train this guy for a left wing forward, he won't have an active playing style, but he could be pretty interesting. I wouldn't play him on the right as a right footer. He can't cross to save his life. You want him coming off the left hand side onto his right to hit those curling shots. Likewise, SS, he can't pass to save his life, but coming off that left wing, if you position train him as a left wing forward, that could be a very interesting card, you know. The pace is good, the speed is good, the acceleration is outstanding. Physical 80, balance 90. You can make him very decent on the ball. They're very nice. You've got scissors, frame, double touch, flip flap. You gave him soul control as well. With long range curler, the 82 finishing, yeah. And 90 attacking awareness on a wide forward. Yeah, that could be a very decent option actually as a left wing forward. I'm not sure many people want to do that because he's already very good as a centre forward. And I'll leave him there as on auto allocation as a centre forward. But yeah, as a centre forward, it looks like a very nice card. As a left wing forward, potentially if you position train him, depending how you train him, he could be a very interesting left wing forward as well. So there's a couple of ways you could use this guy. It is a big negative that there's no league challenge and you're not getting the live update from him. But I mean, he could join a club that's in a licensed league and get started getting some live updates. So that's worth considering. But yeah, just in terms of the ability of this guy, if you put aside the issue of him not getting the live update and stuff, as a striker or potentially as a left wing forward, it could be very interesting. I think it's actually a pretty decent card that. And we finish up with our second striker, and it is Romelu Lukaku, the goal poacher. So he's normally a fox in a box. We've seen cards in this pack with a few added skills. We've had one Trossard with a new position. Lukaku's got his playing style change. He's a goal poacher. I assume he plays more like a goal poacher for Belgium. I'm not really sure. I don't see much of Belgium. But yeah, normally a fox in the box. Or in player of the week is usually a deep line forward these days. But they've been with goal poacher on this card. Got a face scan, of course. Unwavering form, and then skill-wise, I don't think anything has changed here. You've got long edge curler, first time shot, correct finishing, one-touch pass. He probably deserves through passing at this point. He's got a bunch of assists this season. He's really shown how good he can be creating goals this season for Napoli. Outside curler, shame he's not got any kind of aerial skills there. Maybe his heading and aerial superiority would be worth giving me. He's not got an amazing jump on him, but he's got a decent height. He's physically strong. Could be worth giving an aerial and heading if you put a lot of crosses in. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball. Let's have a look at this Lukaku card. So interesting they made him a goal poacher. I only see one other goal poacher version of him that we've had, and that was a player of the week card when he was at Inter. It was a bit better on the ball than this card. It had better passing as well. But this one's got a bit more acceleration, a bit more jumping, a bit more balance. Overall, pretty similar in terms of overall ability. His other player of the week cards, like I mentioned, we've had a lot of deep line forward, had a bunch of deep line forward versions, and Fox in the box as well. I only see one higher rated one than this, and that was a deep line forward with a booster. They're all kind of shuffled around as always. Player of the week cards, they always have a slightly different profile that boosts them in different areas. But this one's a pretty good version. It stacks up pretty well compared to highlights. We've had a bunch of highlight cards with Lukaku that are slightly better than this one in terms of their overall ability, but not a massive difference overall. And they're all fox in the box as well, whereas this is a goal poacher. So if you really fancy a goal poacher version of Lukaku, this card could really appeal to you. On the whole, it does look like a good version of him. What they boosted from his GB card, they put 6 on his tight possession. That's a very welcome boost. They put 8 on his acceleration. That is a very interesting boost. He's got 8 on his jumping as well. Hello, interesting. Apart from that, though, not much else going on. The rest of his attributes boosted by 1 or 2, or in some cases 0. But yeah, tight possession, acceleration, and jumping. They've had the big boost. Interesting ones to boost. You don't often see a big, physical, heavy guy like Lukaku with acceleration up to 90. That's very interesting. And yeah, on the whole, he's looking good. I like with Openda, just 1 point off shy of 90 for finishing. It'd be nice to hit that 90 mark if we can. It's not going to make a massive difference, but it's nice to get up to that 90 mark. Do we have points elsewhere we can spare? I think this is one of these cards we're going to do a couple of builds. So let's do one build initially where we forget the physical side of it. He's already super strong. If you're not putting a lot of crosses in, you just want to get him behind the defence and take chances with him. You can easily get that finish up to 90. 2 points left. Make him a bit better on the ball. I think that's a simple one, to be honest. I wouldn't want to lose any of lower body. Don't want to go below 90 awareness. He's not great on the ball. So yeah, the rest of those points are all going to shooting. Getting up to 90. As a goal poacher, that's what I do. He's not going to be too comfortable on the ball. He's not got great balance. He's a big, heavy guy. You know how Lukaku's going to feel when you get him on the ball. So be careful when you get him on the ball. You don't want to take too many touches and hold onto the ball for too long. But in terms of being able to get into good positions, and reacting in the box and being able to take chances for you, he's got a bit of pace as well when you're putting through balls in behind the defence and some kicking power behind the shots. Could be very interesting as a goal poacher. Could be very interesting. Interesting profile having a goal poacher who's quite quick, got the awareness in finishing, but he's a big, heavy, physical guy with some strength on him. Interesting. But yeah, like I say, we'll do a slightly different build. Let's just take a couple of points off finishing there. And let's just see if we can make him a bit of a target man, a bit more of an aerial presence. Not as important to have that pace. How good can we make him in the air? Because they have boosted his jumping, haven't they? Oof. Hang on, let's call in goalkeeper 1. We can get up to 86 jumping. If we can get his 1 higher, we get 88 jumping. Hang on, let's nick a couple of dribbling. He's going to be horrible on the ball, whatever you do. Boom, 88 jumping. What does it give us? 277.9 jumping height. That's not bad. And when you throw in 97 physical contact, 97. I mean, this guy's going to be an immovable object. Yeah, if you put a lot of crosses in, yes, we've scrimped a bit on the awareness and finishing. I'd like them to be a bit higher, but if we really want to try and focus on making him a beast in the air, if we're going to be putting crosses in, you give this guy heading and aerial superiority, 88 jumping, that vertical reach up towards 280, 97 physical contact, 86 heading. put some crosses in for this guy, he's going to win a lot of headers, and he'll probably score a fair few of them. So yeah, if you're spamming a lot of crosses at the moment, if that's the way you're playing, this guy could be very interesting. Goal poacher is not my ideal playing style for if I'm playing that way. If I'm putting a lot of crosses in, for me personally, Fox in the box is my favourite playing style on a centre forward. They just seem to time their runs the best, but goal poacher can work fine as well. And like I say, with that kind of a build, you just want to mash a load of crosses into the box. He could be an absolute beast. And that physical contact 97 on a guy like Lukaku with his physical profile. Wow. Yeah, it could be very interesting. But as we saw initially, with a build similar to that, with the auto allocation, he could be very interesting as a goal poacher, just focusing on taking chances as well, getting behind the defence, bit of pace, kicking power behind the shots. Very interesting version of Lukaku. That playing style does make him very different to most other versions of him. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Slightly different profile to what he always has. A couple of ways you could use him, whether you go for that beastly aerial kind of build and try and, you know, put a load of crosses in for him, try and score a lot of headers, or whether you just use him as a goal poacher, getting behind the defence and take chances with him. He could be very effective both ways. So yeah, not necessarily the absolute best version of Lukaku that we've had by any means, but it's a good one. It's an interesting one, slightly different profile. I think for a fair few people, it could be a very interesting centre forward card to pick up. So there's your Belgian pack. I think that's an interesting one. They're not all great cards. De Cuyper is not a great left back card in all honesty. The two centre backs, Debast and Theate, they're both solid. There's slight concerns with both of them around the kind of lack of live update and stuff. And they both need a few skills, but they both could be solid centre backs. And Theate's got fantastic hair. You've got a couple of good strikers in there. Lukaku and Openda could both be good strikers to pick up, but with Openda there is that concern over the lack of form again in the league challenge. So that situation is a big negative, although he does look like a very interesting card. The Ketelaere and De Bruyne got two number 10s, are both looking at them in isolation, very good cards. De Bruyne, if you're not too worried about the pace boost, it could be a disappointing one because in terms of overall ability, he doesn't really measure up that well against other versions, but he does have more pace and it's still a very good card. The Ketelaere likewise, big tall guy, interesting profile for a number 10, but could be a very decent one to have. Trossard, the valid right wing forward, is that going to make much difference to you? I don't think it will make a lot of difference to a lot of people, to be honest, but yeah, a couple of ways you could use him, a couple of positions you could use him in. Needs the passing skills, but it's a good version of Trossard. What else we got? Doku, amazing on the ball. End concern's a bit of an issue. Sorry, end product is a bit of an issue, so you're going to need to look at that in terms of the way he's trained and possibly giving him a bunch of skills to improve his end product. Who else we got left? The two long-limbed merchants. We've got Courtois, but his long arms, his great coverage, and his great stats. That is a really, really good version of Courtois. It's a fantastic goalie. And then we've got a DMF with long legs, which is what a lot of people seem to like in the game. He's an anchor man, he's got long legs, he's got good defensive stats, they've added some defensive skills, and he could also be an absolute beast of a centre-back as well. So, yeah, there are some very interesting cards in there. As with all these packs, it's not for everyone, it just depends, you know, what versions of these players do you already have? You know, do they fit with the way you play, with their positions, their playing styles and everything? It might give you great value, it might not give you much value. And then you've got an out-wide manager, so... yeah, that's the gist of it, really. Like I say, with all these packs, they're not going to be for everyone, but there are some very interesting cards in there. I think probably Courtois and Onana are the two cards that I would imagine are going to be the most popular ones, but there are some decent ones in there. And yeah, hopefully this video has helped you to make your decision whether to buy it. Let me know what you think of it. Be interested to know your thoughts about some of these cards. Thank you for watching. As always, I will try and get the Italy pack review done next. I don't have a lot of time over the next few days, so I'll try and get it done over the next few days, but if I don't get it done over the next few days, it'll be, I would imagine, Thursday, Friday, or maybe next weekend at the latest, but I'll get it done as soon as I possibly can. I'm going to try and stream today, so yeah, hopefully I'll see you for the next stream, and keep your eyes out for this pack review. Otherwise, I'll see you for Play of the Week on Thursday. Enjoy your weeks, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Take it easy.